Hey everyone, Charlene here, and I have this adorable die set from Pink and Maine. This is the Berry pop-up card dies, and it creates this super fun strawberry basket pop-up card. I'm really excited. Let's get started. I'm going to start here with our strawberries. This die cuts out a solid piece as well as a piece that has little holes in it that you can put over the solid one so the seeds peek through, or you can use this die that creates embossed indents if you don't want to do a double layer. So lots of fun different options. I cut the pieces with the holes out of a light pink and the solid out of a light brown. I'm going to come in here with some ink. I have Cherry Sweet, and I'm going to just take my pieces here that are pink and I'm going to add some red to them to give them a really natural strawberry look. I'll start with the red ink at the bottom and make it really concentrated towards the bottom, and then fade out as I go towards the top of the strawberry, so the lightest part will be underneath our little strawberry top that we're going to get to in a moment. I think this gives a really nice natural look. Now don't be afraid of the ink. You do need quite a bit of your red ink to give it that nice strawberry color. Now I'm coming in with some glue here. I'm going to add it to the back of the strawberry, just making sure to go around all of those little openings because we want this to adhere really well to the solid piece, and then this will line up perfectly with the solid piece. Now keep in mind there are two different strawberry sizes here. Anytime you're working with your die cuts, you want to make sure that if you have a die that cuts out multiples, you want to make sure that they are either the same size, or if they're different, make sure you have the right one selected. I'm going to do my leaves now, same kind of process. This leaf piece here cuts out two of the same size leaves, and then these dies cut out a couple of different sized strawberry tops. I want these to have a really nice looking green color, so I started with a light green and now I'm bringing in a slightly darker green ink. I'm doing a similar technique to what I did with the strawberries. I'm bringing the ink up along the edges of the leaf and towards the center, fading out as I go all the way towards the top. So the tops will be the lightest and the bases of the leaves are the darkest. And then same kind of thing for our little strawberry tops, only I'm using a smaller blending brush. That makes things a lot easier. And also keep in mind, if you have a magnetic mat like I do, use those magnets. They can make holding tiny little things that you're trying to ink blend make it a much easier process. I want my strawberries to have some dimensions, so I'm taking tiny foam adhesive squares, cutting them in half, and adding them back behind the strawberry tops. If you struggle with your foam, nonstick scissors and a pokey tool are gonna be your friends. Those are my favorite two tools. It really helps with the pokey tool to hold your foam, and then you can just press it down with your finger and pull the tool away and you get perfectly placed foam. So I'm going to remove the release tape here, and then I can place this on top of the strawberry. I do want a little bit of that light pink peeking out. It's going to give our strawberries this fun little bit of dimension there. To create the base of our card here, I have these three dies I've cut out. This large one I've cut out from a dark green piece, and these other two pieces are going to create the actual strawberry carton. Now, I do want to point out here that at the top, you can see that there are strawberries that get cut out on here. So if you cut this piece out in brown and make your carton brown, then you would not need to add a back layer of brown for the seeds on your strawberries. Now, I've seen other people also use things like yellow or white for the seeds, and that would look nice as well. So now I'll show you how to put this all together. Start by folding along your score lines that the die has created for you. And you're going to want to fold these so that they are facing away from you if you're looking at the front of the piece. So here's the first part of our carton. Now we'll take the second part here of the carton. Same thing for this piece. You're going to fold those score lines so that the flaps are facing away from you. Next, take your front piece and we're going to flip this over upside down, and we're going to put some double-sided tape along the two back flaps. Now you want your tape to line up right along where your fold is, and then just use some nonstick scissors to trim your tape. You'll do that on both of those flaps, and once you've done that, get your other piece and you're going to do the same exact thing. You're going to put your double-sided tape right along your fold line. You don't want to go over the fold line, but you do want it to be up against that fold line. That will give more make your final product be more sturdy. So once you've done that, I recommend going in and burnishing all of your score lines. That's going to make your finished pop-up just really fold and move really nicely. And then also burnishing down the double-sided tape. That's going to make it so that taking the release tape off is much easier. The piece that has the strawberries on it is going to sit inside of the other piece, and then the dark green background is going to adhere on the back of that, and that's what's going to give us that nice pop-up effect. So I've removed the release tape from the flaps here, and you want to make sure that everything is facing the same direction. So I've turned both pieces so that they are facing away from me, and I'm going to take this flap here and adhere it towards the middle of the front carton piece. You could put it wherever you want to on that flap, but you just want to make sure you kind of put it at the same spot on each side. So once you've put one side down, fold over the entire flap, because if you don't fold over that flap and you try to stick down the left-hand side, it's not going to work correctly. Before you push down that other side, make sure you fold the whole flap over and make sure everything is nice and lined up along the bottom. And then you can go ahead and put your flap down with the exposed adhesive, and it will line up in the middle of the left side just like it did on the right side. So we have our nice little pop-up here. I'll go ahead and take off one of the pieces of the release tape on the strawberry piece, and this I'm going to make sure first everything's facing the same direction, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold that piece over and line it up along the left hand edge of our background piece, the dark green background piece. I'll turn everything over, remove the release tape from the other side, and then I can again make sure everything is nice and lined up. You always want that bottom part of all your pieces to be lined up. And then I can tuck the flap back in underneath there and then press everything down so that exposed adhesive adheres. So now we're going to have this nice pop-up strawberry carton. Things are really starting to come together. Next, I'm going to create some flowers as well as the centers and the tiny buds that go back behind those pieces. I've cut the flowers out of some ivory cardstock here, and then this die cuts out both the flower centers and the little bud pieces that go on that back row. That'll make more sense in just a moment. I want my flowers to have a little bit of ink blending as well. I feel like it adds so much to a card, and it's a really pretty quick and easy thing you can do, and it just takes a card up to the next level. For these, I'm using a small blending brush and adding a little bit of yellow ink to the centers of the florals. I decided to go with a lighter yellow than what my center is because that center piece will stand out more against a light yellow than if I had used a yellow that was the same color. So I'll add some glue here to the center of all of those florals. Then I can just use a wax pickup tool and place my centers easy peasy, just like that. My flowers are done. For these tiny little strawberry buds, I'm not sure what the technical name is for them, but I'm just adding a little bit of glue down on the bottom V portion. And these are going to glue right back behind those little green V's that we have on the back piece. So they'll peek out and look like little strawberries that are starting to grow. I added foam tape to the back of the leaves. You could glue these on directly, and your choice, you can line them up with those back leaves, or if you want a different look, you might want to offset them. You can get a lot of different looks out of one die set just by moving things around, offsetting them. Fun, fun, fun. Added some glue to the back of one of my strawberries, and these I am going to glue directly to the strawberries that are on there. I did add foam tape to the remaining two, and I'm tucking these in so that they are covering up those little spots of green background that are peeking through. By covering up those spaces, we're going to be able to make it look like our strawberry carton is nice and full. Right about here is where I looked up and realized my camera had stopped recording. Gotta love technology. Just showing you, I cut this rectangle here out of that same dark teal color that the inside of the carton is, and I glued it right along the top of our carton. And then this here is a tag that comes in the set. I die cut that from white cardstock for my sentiment, which is coming from this absolutely adorable stamp set. Lots of cute different sayings. You're the sweetest person I know. Wishing you a sweet birthday. I will always pick you. I couldn't ask for a sweeter friend. There's also sentiments you can put together yourself, like very happy we're friends. I love you very much. Lots of different options with the Very Happy stamp set. I went ahead and stamped my sentiment here using some black pigment ink, and I decided to stamp it on the horizontal because I'm going to have my tag at an angle on the front of the carton. I added some foam tape here to the tag. I want this to pop up off the front of the carton, but I don't want any of that exposed adhesive to cause issues with the pop-up. So I'm actually going to just peel off about the top third of the release tape on there and then clip it off with my scissors. That way the bottom portion of the foam tape is still covered, it's not exposed, and it won't cause any problems by sticking to the inside parts of the carton when the card is laid down flat. So when you're putting together a three-dimensional card, those are the kinds of things you want to be thinking about. Like, is this going to impact the mechanism at all? And there's ways to work around it, just like this. I'm taking one of the small flowers and adding some glue to the back. I'm going to adhere this to this top portion of the tag. You also could tie this with some twine or something like that. It would also look really cute, but I decided to go ahead and use one of my little flowers. And I have this extra strawberry and leaf that I did want to keep because I'm going to add it down towards that bottom right hand corner of the carton. I feel like anytime I have something that's like a carton or something like that, I like to have something falling out of it. I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing. Do you guys do that? Let me know down in the comments. So adding some glue here to the back of the leaf. I'm not worried about any of that getting through because it will dry before I have this laid down flat, and then it won't cause any issues. So I'm putting this strawberry down here so it goes off the edge just a little bit. Added some foam tape to the back of this flower, and I'm going to put it so that it blocks that little bit of teal that peeks out. So all these spots, you could add extra strawberries, you could add more flowers, whatever you want to add here. I just think it makes the strawberry carton look more full to have those areas blocked. So keep that in mind. I'm going to add some glue to the back one, and this one I'm actually going to tuck back in between these two strawberries back here. And now I have kind of this little S curve to my flowers. I think it looks really nice. You could write your message directly on the back. You could cut out that background piece in white and glue it to the back. I'm actually going to create a shaped card, which is fun. So I have a white card base here, and I will bring in that same die that we used to cut out the background, only I want it to cut so that there is a hinge at the top. So I'll move it up so that it doesn't cut off those tops of the leaves that are up there. You can see up here, and anywhere that is exposed is going to create a little hinge on the card. So once it's lined up, you definitely want to tape it in place, and you want your bottom to and top to be straight. Otherwise your hinge will open kind of wonky and you don't want that to happen. So I ran that through my die cutting machine and you can see how fun that is. I think it's just a neat little thing to have a shaped card and extra, you don't see them very often. So every once in a while I like to do one. And the neat thing about this is that embossing actually goes inside of the card too. So you get this fun little detail portion on the inside of your card as well. Adding glue here, and you just want to make sure you get glue all over those parts because you want to make sure your card base adheres really well. You don't want it peeling away from your finished product here. And then just take your time and line everything up with your fingers. All right, here is our finished berry pop-up card. This is so cute. It lays flat, but it pops up for display. It has our fun shaped card base that we created. This is such a cute card for sitting on someone's desk or on a shelf. I'm really excited to send it to one of my friends. All right, you guys, I hope you picked up some tips and tricks today. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that I can continue to bring you more crafty content in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.